Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I'm back with the Whole Picture Volume 2. This is sketch number 1, and I'm going to be using this collection from Carta. It's called It's a Celebration. It's a birthday collection. I am back doing some photos of my mom on her birthday cruise, and I paid to have the cabin decorated in birthday stuff. She had no reaction to it whatsoever. We walked into the room and it was completely decorated. You'll see all the pictures of things hanging from the ceiling. There was a big sign on the wall and she was like, oh, no, nothing. And then, after we got settled and everything, I was like, did you notice anything about the room? And she's like, yeah, it looks nice. Okay, Mom. So then on the last day, I was like, well, I want to get pictures of you. And then she's showing off all of her decorations and being silly with it. You may notice as I put this layout together that I just did this sketch. It wasn't until the very end. And I have no idea why I didn't think about this, but this is a sketch that I used very recently on the same birthday cruise. At the end, I'm going to show you both of the layouts together. They look very similar because obviously I use the same sketch. Yeah, it was interesting how you just get in the groove and you start working, and I don't really pay attention to, the sketches that I'm using. I have started to kind of veer away from Scrapbook Generation sketches because I have been using them so much that I went over to kind of make page maps to kind of take a break and hopefully not have that happen again. But I do like the way that this layout came out together. So down at the bottom, I have 3 4x6 photos. I did cut them down just a little bit because I like to have more pattern paper showing. You could absolutely do a wall of photos because that's actually what the sketch calls for. This is paid content, so I can't show you the sketch, but I will link the sketchbook below because it is an amazing sketchbook. I know I say that every single time that I use it, but all of the sketches use 4x6 photos. So you don't have to think about it. If you have older photos that you've already had printed, you can just look through the sketchbook, find the number at the bottom because that tells you how many photos are on it, which is amazing. If you have 6 photos, you can find all of the sketches that are 6 photos and find a sketch that works, and you don't have to think about making them smaller or anything like that. So with this particular sketch or layout that I did differently, I used a lot more pattern paper, and I talked about that where I had to kind of add where the happy birthday piece, I added it all the way to the edge because I went a little bit further. And this is more closely related to the sketch. It only calls for a full strip on the left-hand side. And then I think it's 6.5 inches on the right-hand side, and it all lines up on the edge. So you'll see that in a second when I put it all together. And I like the way that it turned out because it definitely shows where I have inked the edges, and I like that crisp edge to it on the right hand side. I also cut out this paper from the 6x6 paper pad, and you can see that it has a little dip where I've probably cut out a circle before, and I'm going to cover that up in just a second. But it has the birthday song, happy birthday to you, and in the music notes, so what you would write in, or what you would see if you were playing the piano or playing an instrument and reading the notes. So I really like that paper. I think it's really pretty. So after I line everything up, all of the pattern paper, I really like these balloon paper. I feel like it goes really well. I mean, we didn't have balloons in the room, but on the far right hand side, you're going to see where my mom has this hanging sign, where you would hang from the ceiling, and it has birthday balloons on it. They're not real balloons, obviously, they're paper balloons, but it kind of goes with the paper, and I thought that was really cool. So this is where I'm going to cover up that top little notch piece there. I'm going to use the same navy paper that I used over on the left in that strip there, and I used a border punch to cut out that design. And I actually cover up the design, so I probably could have just put a straight navy piece of paper because you really can't see it. So again, I'm going to do some paper shaving because that's what I do best. It's just easier to kind of cut off the edges than to try to make my paper straight. Once I get all of the paper background down, I'm going to go ahead and add my photos as well. Then I'm going to go ahead and start working on the banner pieces. So I did cut these from the 6x6 paper pad. I cut a 2-inch strip, and then I'm using my banner punch. This is from Stampin' Up. It cuts up to a 2-inch. It does 1 inch, 1.5 and 2 inch banners. And then once I get all of the banners cut, I'm going to go ahead and cut them all together so that they're all the exact same size. I'm going to go ahead and ink up those edges and lay those down. And then I'm also going to do a little bit of stitching. Not a lot, but since this is a sketch from Scrapbook Generations, which is mainly Allison Davis, you know, she loves her stitching. I went ahead and just added some stitching right to the tops of these banners. And I love the way that it came out. It's just a straight back stitch, but it just adds just a little bit of extra dimension to the layout. You can see here where I have used my washi tape to tape the back to secure it down. Then I'm going to start to build my clusters. My first cluster that I'm going to work on is over here on the far right hand side. It's going to be just on top of that little square there. You're supposed to put journaling there, or that's what the sketch calls for, but I really like just the birthday tune. And then right above the navy piece, I'm going to add a sticker that says happy birthday. I'm going to add a little balloon, and then I am going to add this Let's Celebrate hot air balloon over to the left hand side, and I'm going to put that down, but then I'm going to eventually add a big wood veneer, so I'm going to have to move it over because it is not enough space for my big wood veneer title. Over to the top right where the banners are, I'm going to go ahead and add a sticker that's like a little party hat. And I'm going to go ahead and put that up on Fun Foam. And it's a lot easier to add those pieces when you have stitching behind it. To put it up on Fun Foam makes it a little bit easier. So this is where I had to pull up that hot air balloon to move it over because I wanted to use this wood veneer that says Celebrate. And I felt like it was a perfect place for it. It fit perfectly into where those balloons were. And I just realized that that balloon says Let's Celebrate, and then there's also Celebrate. But I'm just going to go with it. It all works. Going to go ahead and add some candles over to the far right hand side. And then I am now pulling from my embellishment books. What I like to do is just add some pieces from my embellishment books to a wax piece of paper over on the left hand side. And then anything that I think will work. And then once I have all the different colors picked out, then I'll go ahead and add them to the layout. Then I pull out my enamel shapes in yellow and I add an arrow and a heart to both of the clusters on the right. So here is my final layout, as well as some close-ups. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. You can also see here, I'm about to show you the 2 layouts that I created, where I use the exact same sketch. They're going to be in the layouts very closely to each other. They have a little bit of difference, but very close to each other, and I'm okay with that. All right, guys, if you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.